The popular manga Attack on Titan is known for all the foreshadowing that was laid out from the very first chapter of the story. In previous videos, we also covered the moments that were foreshadowed in Chapter 1. Among these, the hints involving numbers were some of the most mysterious. The title of the first chapter of Volume 1, To You in 2,000 Years, has been a topic of conversation among readers since the start of the series. The number 845 that also appears in the first chapter has as well. Have you ever wondered why these numbers were there? In this video, I'll explain the meaning of the 5 numbers I think were the most important to the story and the foreshadowing that was hidden within them. These numbers come from the meaning of 845, the 13-year-long lifespan, the 104th class of cadets, the 9 titans, and 2,000 years ago. Please be aware that the rest of this video contains spoilers up to the last chapter of the manga. The meaning of 845. The number 845 from the first chapter of Attack on Titan Volume 1 appears only as a number in the manga. Before the series was fully released, it was unclear what the number represented. But in the first episode of the anime, it was shown to be the year 845, so 845 represented the calendar year. The mystery here is why the year 845 was chosen. This is still unknown, even now that Attack on Titan is complete. Maybe it's been 845 years since the wall was built, or it's been 845 years since the syringe that turns people into titans was created. Various theories have been debated among readers. I think to find out the reason why the year 845 was used, we should look at how it's related to our real-world history. If we go back 2,000 years from the year 845 in world history, we end up in 1155 BC. This is the year implied by the title of the first chapter. 1155 BC is the year of the fall of the Kassite dynasty, the third dynasty of Babylon. It was also the year that the last pharaoh, Ramses III, died. Slavery was practiced in ancient Babylon, and Ymir, the founder, was a slave. Also, the number 845 was not only used for the year, it could also be seen as foreshadowing for Mikasa's "See you later, Eren" line. Mikasa says, "See you later, Eren," on page 13 of Volume 1, Chapter 1. 2 pages later, the number 845 shows up, and if we put these two numbers together, we get 13,845. Based on this number, if you look at Chapter 138, page 45, we see Mikasa saying, "See you later, Eren," again. This scene happened in a world where Eren doesn't cause the rumbling and passes away after spending the rest of his remaining lifespan with Mikasa. Eren is crying in Volume 1, Chapter 1, page 14, because he felt that the day he'd have to part with Mikasa would eventually come. I think the "See you later, Eren" in Volume 1, Chapter 1 was foreshadowing of that moment. The 13-year-long lifespan. In Attack on Titan, those who inherit one of the 9 titans die 13 years later as compensation for gaining that power. This is the 13-year-long lifespan rule. Originally, only the founder, Ymir Fritz, had the ability to transform into a titan. But when she died, her titan abilities were separated into 9 pieces. This is how the 9 titans came to be. And those who inherit these powers will only be able to live for 13 more years, just like Ymir Fritz did. This 13-year lifespan rule is called the Curse of Ymir. 3 details in Chapter 122 describe the past of the founder Ymir and were foreshadowing for her 13-year lifespan. First, in the scene where the king is searching for who let the pig escape, the number of fingers pointing at Ymir to frame her as the culprit was 13. Second, Ymir first transformed into a titan on page 13 of this chapter. And third, Ymir's death occurs 13 pages after her titan transformation. This could mean the Curse of Ymir doesn't simply refer to Ymir's lifespan. It might be from Ymir's hatred for the 13 traitors and the 13 painful years she lived as a titan. Personally, I think Ymir only died after 13 years because she wanted to. Then everyone who used her power was forced to do the same. Hence, the Curse of Ymir. Also, in Chapter 1, page 13 is the only page where the page number is indicated in the entire manga. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that this is the most important number in Attack on Titan. 13 also plays a major role in the next number, the 104th class of cadets. The main characters, Eren, Mikasa, and all the others, were members of the Army's 104th class of cadets, and the story is centered around Eren and his classmates. The number 104 is also a multiple of 13. In Christian theology, 13 is the number of Satan and represents rebellion. In addition to 104, the number 13 is also constantly emphasized in Attack on Titan. The "See you later, Eren" scene is on page 13 of the first chapter, and the Curse of Ymir makes heirs of the 9 Titans die after 13 years. A lot of these other numbers are connected to the number 13 in similar ways. Because of the number 13, Eren and the others weren't in the 100th class, which would have been a nicer, more rounded number, but instead the 104th class, which is a multiple of 13. Also, since the final chapter is finished, we know the number 104 turned out to be important foreshadowing for the end of the story. 104 divided by 13 is 8. This 8 is Mikasa, Armin, Jean, Connie, Historia, Reiner, Annie, and Hitch, the only students of the 104th class of cadets who are still alive at the end of the story. So the number 104's hidden meaning was how many of those cadets would survive to the end. The 9 Titans. The 9 Titans were born when the ability to transform into Titans that the founder Ymir acquired was divided into 9 different powers. The 9 Titans are the Founding Titan, the Colossal Titan, the Armored Titan, the Female Titan, the Beast Titan, the Jaw Titan, the Cart Titan, the Warhammer Titan, and the Attack Titan. Eldians who inherit this ability not only retain their intelligence and are able to become Titans at will, but they can also use the unique powers that reside within their Titan. The question is, why did the founder Ymir divide her powers into 9 different Titans? We can assume the number 9 must have some important meaning. The key to figuring this out could be related to Norse mythology. The author, Isayama sensei, once stated in an interview that Attack on Titan was influenced by Norse mythology. A world being surrounded by walls and the end of the world being caused by the earth rumbling are things that were pulled directly from Norse mythology. Ymir, the founder of the Titans in Attack on Titan, is also the name of the ancestor of all giants in Norse mythology. In this mythology, there are 9 worlds, including Asgard, the realm of the gods, and Jotunheim, the home of the giants. Maybe this is why the number of Titans created by Ymir in Attack on Titan was 9. We've discussed the similarities between Norse mythology and Attack on Titan in a previous video, so please take a look at that one too. The meaning of 2,000 years ago. The title of the first chapter in Attack on Titan, Volume 1, is 2U in 2,000 years. The number of years in the title, 2,000, was very important to the story. There are 3 things that are important for us to know when looking at this number. The first is that the Curse of Ymir made heirs to the 9 Titans live only 13 more years. The second is that the 145th King Fritz was the one who moved his people to Paradis Island and built the walls. And the third is that as of the year 850, 107 years had passed since the walls were built. By combining these 3 numbers, the meaning behind the 2,000 years becomes clear. Every new King Fritz inherited the abilities of the Founding Titan from generation to generation, and the Curse of Ymir shortened each king's reign to 13 years. 13 times 145 is 1,885. In other words, as of the 145th King Fritz, 1,885 years had passed since Ymir became the first Titan. Since the 145th King Fritz fled to Paradis Island and built the walls, if we add the 107 years that have passed since the wall was built to this 1,885, we get the number 1,992. 107 years after the wall was built was the year 1850 when Eren became a soldier. Eren inherited the Attack Titan and the Founding Titan in the year 845 when he was still a child. Therefore, Eren's life would end due to the Curse of Ymir 13 years after that, in the year 858, 8 years after the year 850. Once we add this 8 to the 1992, we can see Eren's life as a Titan will come to an end 2,000 years after Ymir became the first Titan. This means the title of the first chapter, To You in 2,000 Years, was most likely from the perspective of the founder Ymir, who lived 2,000 years ago. The proof of this is in Volume 30, Chapter 122. The title of this chapter is From You, 2,000 Years Ago, and it shows us Ymir's past. The You in this title is Ymir, and with this we finally learn the hidden meaning of the title of the very first chapter. In the story, Eren becomes the Founding Titan and goes out of control. Mikasa cut him down, and he died when he was 19 years old. Eren was supposed to die at age 23, so he still had 4 years left to live. Because of this, he doesn't reach the 2,000-year mark. But in chapter 138, Eren and Mikasa, living out the remainder of those 4 years in peace in another world, was shown. In that world, 2,000 years would have passed as calculated. In this other world, Eren reached the end of his life, and as he dies, Mikasa says, "See you later, Eren," creating a loop connected to the same scene at the beginning of chapter 1. Looking at all of this, it's possible that the title of chapter 1, To You in 2,000 Years, wasn't just a message from Ymir to end her suffering, but also Ymir sending these words from Mikasa, who she was always watching, to Eren. As you can see, there was a lot of meaning given even to the numbers used in Attack on Titan. We go into more detail on the number 13 in a previous video that focuses on the foreshadowing in chapter 1. I'd be happy if you could check that one out too. If you know any other hidden meanings behind numbers that you'd like to share, please let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you again in the next video.